Good day, podcast community. Pete Kane here, founder of the Pete Kane Podcast Show and a certified high performance coach, helping you to get the most out of what you are doing in your life. Now, productivity. This is the foundation and my personal system. Now, everybody's got to determine the flow. So, what I share with you is my system. You got to come up with your system. I'm going to give you some frameworks. We're going to go on a 5-session course with you. Hopefully, the outcome is you're most productive you've ever been in your life. You're on the trajectory of productivity. You get off the busy bus and you get on the purpose plane, because living your life on purpose will help your productivity, will minimize your distractions, will allow you to really get focused and clear about what you want to do. Everybody has 24 hours. Nobody gets more. So you have to look at your 24 hours as your most valuable commodity asset you can control or activate. So the highest performers are the highest performing habits in Brendon Burchard's book, The High Performance Habits. Number 4 is productivity. So you have, let me see, you have clarity, energy, courage, productivity, and influence. So that number 4 is something you can control, you can activate, you can get better. So we're going to give you a framework. I'm going to give you my framework. I'm using AI with it, and I want you to start playing with it, because if you're not, you're going to get left behind, because it's not that you're not doing it, everybody else is. So if you're competing with others and you're not using it because you don't know how to use it, you're going to wake up and the world's going to have flown by you. Your competition's going to be way ahead of you, and you're not going to be able to catch up, because that's how fast the world is changing. I'm going to put up here, just so you can get a good framing for our session. There are 6 major trends going on right now. The best time to be alive is now, because you have the digital trend. You have the entrepreneur trend. Never been easier to get in business, but it's still tough. I mean, nothing's easy worth accomplishing. The third is the crypto, led by Bitcoin. The whole money supply is changing before our eyes. We're going from printing as much as we want and the value going down to only having 21 million coins in Bitcoin. There's going to be other digital currency, but that's going to be the leader. And you can stake your future on a value system that will be empowering people, because now we're seeing a major trend happening, and it is exciting. Then when you get mobile, everybody has a mobile computer right in their possession, in their hand. So they can find you, they can get information around the world. That empowers the person. So that's why it's important to leverage AI to get as productive as you can, to live on purpose, and recognize that personal development is the 6th one. There's more, but these are my 6 major ones, because personal development is going to help you through this massive change that we're about to see. There's going to be more change than I'm 67, more change in my lifetime than more change going to happen in this year than my whole lifetime. and it's going to move rapidly, and you're going to have to be able to adapt. And if you don't, you're going to be wondering what happens. That's why I want to emphasize now's the time to start your journey. Doesn't matter where you start, but start. The journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step. Now let's get into productivity foundation and your personal system. Okay. I have notes here because my stroke 3 years ago compromised my short-term part of memory. So I used to be able to just do things a lot. I could remember things more. So I got to look at an outline. So when you see my eyes go to the right, I'm not delivering to you, but I want to be able to give you the best training you can have. Okay, let's start. So you got to define your productivity and your clarity goals. Without that, any distraction will get you off. There's so much distraction. That's why we say, I want you on the purpose plane off the busy bus. Because without clarity, without purpose, and a purpose doesn't have to be this grandiose mission, like the Mount Everest at the top. There's 4 base camps on your way to Mount Everest. So I like to work in 90-day cycles. And I think it's best that we don't put things so far out there, we can't track that progress. So if you work in quarters, it helps you to get to the first base camp. That way, you get to the first base camp, then you're reassessing because everything's always changing. So you can't say what you set 6 months ago is what you're going to be doing now. So have clarity, have purpose, and work in 90-day cycles. It's all great to have long-term goals, but your long-term goals have to be broken down into manageable chunks of time. And quarters is a great way to do it. So get clear, establish that purpose. Now, we have tools for you. There's plenty on our channel. Being a certified high performance coach, I have the framework of the 12 sessions, of which productivity is number 5. And it's also number, 6, 7, 8, 9, number 9. So 2 of the 12 sessions are on productivity. That just tells you how important it is, because your transformation can happen if you're intentional about improving your personal development. That 6th major trend. So let's get down. I'm going to give you a little bit of mine. Okay. First, outline your productivity and your clarity goals. Okay. That has to be done. And it might be your morning routine. I get up at 3:30, sometimes 4, but I get up early. I think. I immediately get my coffee and I just think. And I think because you have to have that self-reflection, self-awareness. I like to think about the previous day. What happened? What did I do? What did I say? What did I learn? I learned so much on podcasts. It's a learning journey because I get to ask questions based on people's answers. So I get to learn about people. I get to have, in my case, most of my podcasts are a half hour. So I have the attention of my guest for 30 minutes. Where do you ever get that? When you do these one-on-one meetings, they always seem to last an hour. Do they have to? Elon Musk, his last 5 minutes. He set those standards because the person that was sharing this with me was wondering, how does he run all these companies? How does he help us get aligned in our government? How does he take all this? I mean, it's crazy what people are um, thinking in their mind about a guy that is the Einstein of our time. He's creating some incredible things, but yet you might think he's uh, creating evil in the world. He's creating opportunities for you. And he does it in 5 minutes because he set in his productivity. You don't need an hour. You don't need 15 minutes. You don't need a half hour. You can do it in 5. He goes around to all his companies and he finds out what is the biggest problem that they have. So, meeting with his engineers, meeting with his key leadership, what's the biggest problem this week? And then together they solve it. So, when you're setting meetings, maybe you've been doing them one-on-one. I know my BNI friends are. They're doing all these one-on-ones. Man, is that time consuming. And you never, when you're meeting with people, you get talking about everything. Nothing wrong with social. But if you're working, you want to work efficiently. Maybe you don't need an hour. Maybe you can condense that down. Because if you have purpose, you know why you're meeting, you know what your outcome's going to be, you allow yourself to do things in a shorter time frame. So challenge yourself. Challenge yourself to maybe not go to 5 minutes. I'm sure he started off at, but over time, as he kept getting better and better and better and better, he probably shrunk it down. So maybe your hour can be 30 minutes. Maybe you don't need to do the one-on-ones like you do. I don't do them anymore. My one-on-ones are not that. My one-on-ones are podcasts. They're clarity sessions. They're strategy sessions where we have a specific plan that we're accomplishing. So I don't waste time driving. I go to lunch, I meet with people. When I go to a network meeting, I'm not looking for a client. I'm looking for a partnership. We talk about the 5 Ps in key performance, key person of influence. And the number 5 is partnerships. I want to collaborate with people. I want to collaborate. I'm not looking for one client. I'm looking for partnerships. Now, that's number 5. So I got to get my pitch right. My pitch is we generate leads, create cash flow, and build thriving communities. That's it. If somebody asks me about it anymore, I don't throw up on them for 5 minutes about all this stuff about my business, who they could care less, and waste their time and my time. If you don't ask me to tell you more, share more, expand more, I don't give more. I ask you, what fills your heart? What have you been working on that you're excited about? Things that'll go a little deeper than, how you doing? Good. That's it. That doesn't get you any. I mean, it's good, but don't get me wrong. I'm just having fun with you. But I want to challenge you to think the most you can make when you learn better ways to be productive, your day gets slower. Not that you don't do more, but you're more intentional, more practical, more driven by purpose, driven by clarity, and you keep getting better and better and better. So your journey that I'm going to take you on for 5 weeks is to activate. Don't think that once you got 5 weeks, you got it all figured out. I've been doing this for 50 years. So, I constantly look at how I can be more productive. My days are crazy good because I'm more advanced than most. Now, I'm not down to 5-minute meetings, but one day I might be. Okay. Identify personal time wasters. You have to track. You have to do a personal audit of your day, your week. Because if you can't identify where you're leaking or wasting time, how can you improve it? So you have to get a pen and pencil. You can do it with just a notepad and pen and pencil. We have some forms, but you don't need them. Just write it down. Start writing that day. Identify what's going on in your day. Then when you do that self-awareness, did I need to spend that hour meeting with Joe? Maybe not. Maybe I could have done it in 30 minutes. So let me schedule my sessions now for 30 minutes, my meetings. Do I need to drive and see everybody? Well, maybe not. Maybe I'm wasting a lot of time in traffic. What can I do to improve? Could I listen to podcasts? Could I listen to personal development? Could I listen to Growth Day when I'm in traffic so I'm learning and driving? Your university on wheels can be the way you grow, the way you get better. So you don't get frustrated when somebody cuts you off because you're not racing around like I see in our town of Atlanta. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. People are like, they're in such a rush. I'll see people fly by me and then they'll catch the light and I'll pull up beside them. And I don't always do this, but I almost like mentally wave like, man, I guess it was not really needed to speed up and cut me off to get to the next light, and we're still at the same place. So identify your time wasters. You have to do, that's foundational. You got to identify. Map your week out, identify them, then you got to look at it. What can I do to be more productive in this area? And it's just a gradual thing. You don't have to make massive changes. You just got to get better from each day, each week. And if you identify through an audit, you have something to be able to improve. Okay. Productivity. Okay. Your calendar is the most important thing. If it's not on your calendar, it ain't going to happen. And I can always, in my coaching, and I haven't really done this much because I'm in the first year, but I will. Let me see your calendar. That'll tell me where your priorities are and how your flow of your week's going to go. Because if it's not identified based on your priorities and it's not scheduled, it ain't going to happen. Distractions will come up and you'll say yes to things that you should have said no. Because checking your email first thing in the morning is a time waster because you're checking other people's priorities. So your first area of improvement is your morning routine. Be able to first think, journal, plan, implement. Think, journal, plan, implement. When you do that, you're not reacting to other people's priorities. You have thought through your day, your week. You're evaluating the previous day. You're journaling. Journaling will give you the single best tool to get clarity in your life. It'll fill you up. Because when you are, let me see if I can give you when you email somebody, the same person you talk to them on the phone, completely different experience. There's no emotion in email. There's no emotion in texting. I get the most high connecting. And so when you look at that and you journal, you're able to emotionally activate that clarity muscle. And when you activate your clarity, your purpose becomes clearer. My purpose, I have a lot of, but my purpose is to show up and be present during the conversation. You're not going to see me wave this thing, look at this thing. Oh, yeah. What'd you say? What'd you say? No, I don't do that. I haven't done social media in 3 years. Like I started out marketing 10, 15 years ago, social media. So I'm online, but I'm not controlled by social media. I don't scroll 3 hours a day like most do. When you scroll, you're consuming people's lives. You have to be creating your life. Creating it works with purpose, works with productivity. So when you're creating, you're filling yourself. We're born to create, not consume. Consuming other people's lives will just get you frustrated, will just get you distracted. Checking email is other people's priorities. I sometimes don't check them for a day, 2, 3. That's probably a little bit to do with my brain. I'm just not like I used to be. Getting online is not something that's easy for me to do right now. And I'm quite frankly so glad that I've cut out TV. I didn't even have TV for about practically a year. Didn't even have it. Then I cut out Netflix. I used to like to watch an action film. I still will. I mean, I'm not saying I won't, because there's a time and place for your entertainment. But 4 hours a day, that's a little much. When you look at the time you can invest in 4 hours of TV, up to 3 hours of scrolling, 7 hours if you're awake 18, more than 30% of your life, you're consuming other people's lives. So you're going to say, oh, I'm too busy. I don't have time for that. Well, you have time. You're just not prioritizing it to the best of your ability. We talk about PDA, prioritize daily action. Okay. So if you're prioritizing based on you creating, you're not going to be distracted by your TV, by your scrolling, by other distractions. Understand our social media platforms, our entertainment is to keep you on their platform. Keep you. If you're like a news person, it's negative. I read something that Donald Trump's, there was the major TV stations, 92% were negative. 92, 8% positive. How is that objective? Why do we not value traditional media? Because of that number. And if you're putting negative things in your mind, you'll see outcomes like people smashing Teslas and writing on them and throwing fire bombs and crazy things, because this up here is absorbing the wrong things. And when you're not growing, when you're not creating, you're frustrated. There's a lot of frustrated people out there. That's why it's so important to start mastering your productivity. AI is going to change everything. And if you're not using AI in your productivity, and what my partner said 2 years ago when he said, are you using AI? Nah, I don't have time for that. I'm doing my podcasting. Just play with it. Just use it. Just start seeing the benefits. And when I first did it, I put it on my phone, because I am not an online through computer. I can do the phone thing because I speak everything. Being dyslexic, a sentence had more misspells than it probably had right spells, or whatever that word would. So I talk everything. And when I started using it a couple of years ago, and I said, give me a of mindset, goals, and habits, and emphasize this, this, and this. And in 10 seconds, I had the most incredible framework. Did a couple other things to fine tune it. And literally in a couple minutes, I had the framing of it. Then I had to just put my personal voice to it. It would have taken me 6 months, probably couldn't even done it then. I did it in 5 minutes. 6 months, 5 minutes. Is that being productive? Yes. I call people and I don't ask every single time, but I like to ask, how are you using AI in your business? Most at this point, this is April of 2025. I hear more, like 90%. Not really using it that much. Ooh, there's an opportunity there, because if you can leverage your AI to be more productive, you're going to get better things done. You're going to get higher leverage things, whatever business you're in. So put it on your phone. Start playing with it. You can only see improvements if you do something. You can't think about it. It's action. It's activating. So let me see here. Hold on here. Let me get this off here. So when you're looking at, let me put this up, these trends, AI is a big trend. You got to be living under a rock right now to not realize what's happening. But do we truly realize it? I spend probably a half hour or more a day just staying connected to it, hearing what people are saying, just understanding different viewpoints so I can work on being more productive. How can I use it better? How can I leverage it? How can I save and invest in higher leverage things? That's why 2 out of the 12 courses that we teach you in our mastermind 12-week transformation are on productivity. 2 out of 12. 1 out of 6. What's that? 8%? 9%? Of the whole 12 weeks is productivity. That's why it's so important. So you have to design your own personalized system. It's always going to evolve. You're always going to get better. You always have to lean into being growing. Personal development. Number 6. There it is. Number 6 is Growth Day. I've been doing it for over a year. I've never missed a coaching from Brendon Burchard. Never. Not one time. What is that? 400 straight days? Now I'm a little bit OCD, but the 5 to Thrive is the best for you to get better, to do higher things, to change this belief system. You can try it for 7 days. The 7 days allows you to understand how you can use journaling. Set your daily agenda by putting your checklist together, by journaling, by there's numerous courses in there on productivity. 1 whole month was devoted to productivity. So you have 8 to 9 top trainers. I mean, top. 4 out of 5 of the world's best trainers are in Growth Day. And you have access to it to try for 7 days. And then when you like it and see the transformation, you see the prioritizing of your daily action getting better because you're hearing better things. You're investing in yourself. That $50 will be the best investment you'll ever make in your entire life. Nothing close. The 5 to Thrive is 2 thought-provoking questions. Score yourself, because you gotta score yourself if you want to get better. and then the related video to Brendan's. So you have 20 years, a guy that charges $1 million to coach you on this framework right here, this framework. $1 million. If you don't have $1 million, then the next best thing might be $50, price of a dinner. You can have him for an entire month, talking to this, changing this, helping you become more productive. And when he helps you become more productive, you're getting clarity in your life. You're getting purposeful. You're getting better. And when 90 days goes past, you're going to go, whoa, what happened? I got so much better than the first part of that 90 days. And that's how you see yourself getting better. So it's got to be your own system, but your calendar is critical. Live off your calendar. That's your priorities. If you don't schedule it, it ain't going to happen. So if you're just jumping out of the day, checking emails, and then rushing into the day, you're just going to be like a ping pong ball all over the place. Every distraction, you're going to come and you're going to go, dang, why am I on the busy bus? Why am I frustrated? Why am I not getting anything done? Why am I feeling wiped out at the end of the day? Because I didn't have clarity. I didn't have purpose that day. And I just went to whatever distraction. I said yes to everything for it. I was overwhelmed, stressed out. That doesn't have to happen. So we have some sheets for you. We have some resources, tools. We want to help you create a foundation, create your personal system. And I look forward to having you at the next session because we're going to cover time, energy, and automation. So I'll see you in session 2. Be bold, make a difference, and have fun. And as I like to say, you're the magic. Anything is possible. See you in session 2.